So since our front office insider, Bobby Marks, is in studio, why don't we do a little on your marks, get set, go. I'm going to throw out a topic. Bobby's going to give us the latest on this team, and we're going to start with the Golden State Warriors. So last week, Steph Curry, he spoke with Mark Spears about his future in Golden State, saying, quote, if it is a situation where you're a bottom feeder and it's just because you want to stay there, I'd have a hard time with that. But I don't think that is going to be a reality. Okay, that is what Steph said. Bobby, have the Warriors done enough here for this season? What can they do to continue to maximize around Steph Curry?
Well, all eyes are going to be on Lauri Markkanen, who is renegotiation and extension eligible on August 6th. The tea leaves are pointing to him re-signing in Utah.
Okay.
They have not signed anybody this offseason. They're sitting on $37 million in cap space. So keep an eye on Markkanen in Utah. Now, what happens next? They're only $533,000 below that first apron. They cannot go out and add players here.
Right.
And they're still limited as far as what they can do with draft picks. They can trade a 2026, 28, and 30, maximum of 3 players. Malika, I hate to say this, but what you see is what you get right now with this Golden State roster. They added certainly Buddy Hield and Kyle Anderson, the Anthony Melton. They've done enough to be in the conversation of getting out of that play-in group here, but they're not in where Dallas is, Minnesota. We can talk about Phoenix, certainly. They're not in that upper echelon right now.
All right, so that's sort of the top tier of the West, and you don't see Golden State there. I want to bring in Kendrick Perkins to see how he is reading these tea leaves, since you're saying that it looks like Lauri Markkanen is not going to be joining the Golden State Warriors, at least right now. The Warriors' win total, according to ESPN Bet, it's set at 43.5, Perk. Do you think that they will win more or fewer than the number of games? What do you think?
Well, they still have Draymond Green. They still have Steph Curry, right? Draymond Green, the heart and soul, the leader of their team. Steph Curry, their best player. And I like what I saw out of Jonathan Kuminga last season. I think he's going to take a serious leap from what he did last season, and that's talking a lot. Can he be an all-star caliber player? I believe so. I think they're going to get about 44 to 45 wins.
Okay.
I think they have too much pride, and I love what Pajipski is bringing to the table, especially on the defensive side of things. We know he's going to come back better. At the end of the day, you still got Steph Curry. Now, Steve Kerr is going to have to coach his behind off. And I heard somebody sniggling and giggling, but I got his name right, Pajipski.
I can't.
It was me. It was me.
And giggling.
You know it, Perk.
I'm sorry, Perk. All right, friends, let's stick in the West here, shall we, and talk a little bit about the Phoenix Suns, because they signed Tyus Jones as the market's top remaining free agent guard, but it was to a one-year, $3.3 million deal. That's according to our senior insider, Adrian Wojnarowski. So, Bobby, see, now you have my confidence. So, Bobby, what are we doing, Bobby? Why is this a significant deal for the Suns, who are heading into year 2 with the Beal, KD, Booker sort of experiment going on? Bobby.
They got the second best point guard who was a free agent. Outside of Tyrese Maxey, Tyus Jones was still on the board, and when he signed over this weekend, usually a late July signing does not sound shockwaves through the NBA.
Yeah.
But to get him at $3.3 million to this Phoenix roster, he's not going in to back up. 7.3 assist to ratio, and look what's on their bench still. Grayson Allen, when you point him in, he was probably their most consistent player.
Shooter.
Interchangeable lineups as far as what Phoenix is able to do. We've always talked about the second apron with them, how much they spent, $433 million. Yeah. But when you look at Tyus Jones for 3.3, that's money well spent.
That assist-to-turnover ratio is important. That led the league. That is what this Suns team need, because what did we say all of last season?
Yes.
Who is their point guard? So the Suns, they won 49 games last year. They're, of course, swept by the Wolves in the first round here. Chene, do you think they will be better or worse next season?
They're going to be better.
Okay.
I love this. This was a sneaky good pickup. You mentioned 7.3 assists, also a career high 12 points, what you did last season. But more so, I mean, we're watching the Olympics where Kevin freaking Durant, that's how you started the show, is balling out. It made me question some things. I'm like, what are we doing in Phoenix? Well, this is what we're doing. It's a good move. They struggled in clutch time. They also need a low-maintenance guy that can distribute to their plethora of scorers.
Right.
So I like this move. This helps their upside. But they still have to fulfill the center position. But this is a move in the right direction that is cost-effective because they are expensive.
Yeah, they are expensive. I feel like I need to knock on some wood over here. Health is such a big thing for the Phoenix Suns, too. We just didn't get to see them play and build that chemistry a whole lot last year. All right, let's move on to the East here. The Knicks and Julius Randle, they're going to have a decision to make on the All-Stars' future in New York. This Saturday, Randle is eligible to sign a 4-year, $181 million extension. So, Bobby, what is he going to do?
Well, if you ask Julius Randle, he took a compromise with his last extension, which was 4 for 117.
Yep.
4 for 181, that would make him the highest paid Knicks. There's no player on the roster making $40 million. It would negate the Jalen Brunson extension that he signed recently here. They've got to avoid that second apron, bring back Mikal Bridges here. I think if you're Julius Randle here, I think you're looking at, you've had 2 surgeries in the last 2 years. You've had an ankle, and then you had your shoulder injury. Take the guaranteed money, even if it's not the maximum that he's allowed for.
Okay, Perk, let's bring in the resident mayor of New York here. What would you like to see the Knicks and Julius Randle agree to?
Well, to be honest, Julius Randle don't have a choice. I think with Jalen Brunson setting the bar as the guy on that team, the leader on that team, the franchise player on that team, everyone else has to follow suit. I don't know how quickly they get this done, though, right? I think this is an audition for Julius Randle, especially at the start of the season, when it comes down to how he's going to fit. Is he going to sacrifice? Like, is he going to match well with what they left off last year? And if he does, then I think him and the Knicks will come to agreement. If he don't, and he's not feeling it, how he's being utilized, his role on the team, I think the Knicks will look elsewhere. And it's the right decision.
Again, this Saturday, Julius Randle eligible for a 4-year, $181 million extension.